I love the landscape around this part of the UK. Broadly speaking, this is East Wiltshire, and perhaps more specifically, well, just behind us is the town of Marlborough. This location is littered with history spanning millennia, from 5,000-year-old burial mounds, 2,500-year-old ditches, and so much more.
And for our more modern history, our beloved abandoned railway.
But today we aren't here for any of this. We're here to try and find the traces of some Roman roads. Now, we've got two questions. Number one, can we find these Roman roads? And number two, what exactly does a Roman road junction look like? So first of all, some context to where you find us today. Now, for the Time Team lover, you may recall an episode where they found 55,000 Roman coins. Series 17, episode 6, A Potted History. Oh my god, I'm going grey. Yes, 55,000 Roman coins in a field just outside Marlborough. A significant and Roman settlement sat in the valley here just to Marlborough's east. Now, to the south of this site, two Roman roads met somewhere here in Savernake Forest as part of the Roman road network. So before we head to the junction of these two routes in question today, are there any remains of these two routes? So what we decided to do is have a look at the last 3 miles or so of each route.
The first one today is the M43.
Now, that essentially is a road that connects Cirencester, the huge important conurbation of Cirencester in Roman terms, down to the ports on the south of England and across over to Europe. So this road that we're looking for, first of all, M43, has huge significance. So you'd think it would be quite prominent here in Savernake Forest, just south of the junction that we're going to come to very shortly. Right, so the track we're on is only about 20 yards, so if we walk into the trees here, Rebecca, 20 yards or so, okay, we should hopefully come to what looks like a Roman road. So ahead of us now, you can see we're stood right on the centre part of what they would call the Agar, so that's the main bit of the road. We've got a ditch either side. So do you want to go stand in that ditch so we can show the viewers? I'll go stand in this ditch either side of the Roman road. Right, so there's Rebecca. Now if I get down here, you'll see between us here is the ditch of the road. Really difficult to show you on camera. We are either side of the Roman road, which is right here. So the location of our search for both of these Roman roads leading up to the junction is essentially done today completely in Savernake Forest. We thought it would be perfect, kind of relatively untouched. It's, I think, the oldest privately owned ancient woodland in the country. Again, difficult to come out on camera, but you can see a faint road ahead exactly behind me, ditch either side. And this M43 route is marked significantly on modern NLS maps. It's marked on all the old maps on the National Library of Scotland as a route through it. It's not so prominent on the LiDAR, and you can kind of tell that by, there's only a real faint hint that it's here. It is here, you can tell that, and that adds up because it was a significant route, a really important route, because it led Cirencester all the way down to the ports and back across to Europe. Just had a really interesting thought. To our immediate right is the Wansdyke, or the Wans Ditch, and it was a ditch built maybe sort of between 50, 200 years after Roman occupation. Now, the point of this Roman road we're looking for today, M43, there's a point where the Wansdyke cuts across it perpendicular. So would that potentially give us a profile of the Roman road?
If we can find the cross.
If we can find it. I think it's just over here somewhere.
Ooh.
A little bit underwhelmed by that, because this is the one spot where OS said beyond that ditch there, the Wansdyke, which cuts perpendicular to the Roman road, beyond that ditch there, they said is a really good, it shows you on the maps, they've got all the earthworks. Not a lot on LiDAR, so that should have been a clue for us. instead of us now going to go toward the junction that we're going to show you, what does a Roman road junction look like, we're going to quickly pop over to M44, the other route that comes in and joins just to the north there at the top of Savernake Forest. We're going to show you M44 because a lot of that is on the LiDAR and it shows some good examples.
Crackers and red pepper hummus, everybody. Can o' water. Who knew?
Okay, Rebecca, this is the Bible, the Roman Road Bible. Can you turn to page 99?
99. Oh, check that out. That was clever. Couldn't have done that if I tried. Okay, where are we at? Oh, Old Sarum to Mildenhall.
Yeah, what route number is that, Rebecca?
It is route number 44 and it's 23 miles.
Okay, we're looking for route 44 now.
We are looking for route 44. A very direct line of road or trackway can be clearly traced northeastward from Old Sarum. I'm not going to try and pronounce that in Roman.
So we're trying to find now M44, Margary Route 44, and that travelled from Salisbury, Old Sarum, all the way up to the junction that we're trying to find here near Marlborough, or perhaps closer to Mildenhall, or as the locals call it, Minal. So either way, the Roman town was called Cutinio. I believe that's how you pronounce it. My pronunciation is on point today. Did you get all that, everybody? Minal, Cutinio. As suspected, because when we checked out the LiDAR, there was a lot to see of M44. Just ahead of us is route M44, about a mile south of where the junction is we'll come to shortly, but perhaps more impressively behind us is that surveyed oak. Potentially, I think we read 1,100 years old, so 900 years after the Romans first sort of landed here, that grew, and 1,100 years later it's still here today. It's so difficult to find some of this today because a lot of this is sort of grassy. I mean, we're thinking that through there we should find something. Let's have a quick, let's have a little, just a very quick peek in here, because you can, I mean, I feel like I'm in a ditch now, right?
You're lower down than you are over there.
Now this is the exact spot where this M44 crosses the avenue there, and yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm definitely on it here, Rebecca. I feel like it's also impossible to show everybody on the camera, but I also do feel like if you go that way a tiny bit, yeah, I feel like you're in the middle of the road now, and there's a ditch there and a ditch there, and this is perfectly aligned. If I go this way a bit further, and how well you can see, but the alignment is right there, which is exactly where it is on the map. So this does work in my head. You've got a slight ditch over to the left, and where Rebecca has stood now, we've got the other side of the ditch. So I'm happy that this is quite pronounced here, yeah, including the jar of Marmite down on the floor in front of me. So we're nearly at the most northern end of route M44. We haven't shown you much of the route because there's only so much forest that we can show you, but perhaps we've saved the best bit till last. This is, as I say, the most northern part, and the Agar here, the top level of the middle of the Roman road, is perhaps as most prominent that we've seen all day today. Now, considering that this route M44 was like a subsidiary route, it was a tertiary route almost, according to Margary, and the M43 just through the trees was a main route north for their armies. Well, it's strange because that's nowhere near as prominent as what we're stood on right now. It's absolutely crystal clear, even with the foliage on the ground now. You can see clear ditches either side and a huge Agar. We are very, very close now to the top, which is about 100 meters that way, where we should meet M43, and we should find out what a Roman junction looks like before it headed down the hill into Minal and into the Coutinho. We are now both walking up the ditches to try and make sure we don't lose track of M44. Rebecca's on the other side in that other ditch. Let's go through here and see if we can see Rebecca. So this is the ditch. Rebecca's over there on the other ditch and the road here is in front of us. So this is fine. This is good. This is what we wanted because... So what that tells us, Rebecca, is the road is right through there. You've come up the ditch just outside that tree there, yeah? Yep. My ditch is just down there, so the Roman road goes there. So
the tree is basically right in the middle of it.
Yeah, that's fine. So the task now was to find where these two routes met, M43 and M44, the Roman road junction, and we weren't far away. So we split up and I took M43 and Rebecca stayed on Route 44. And we both followed those routes more or less north to try and stay on their exact track. It soon became apparent that whilst we could pinpoint the exact location of where these two junctions met, well, there were no earthworks here whatsoever. I think perhaps if we dug a few feet down, we may find the answer we're looking for. That's weird. Second?
That's pretty close, and in fact it could be because of the width of the road. So that could be...
Oh, yeah. And one or two of us could have gone either way, but that's mad. So does this white post mark the spot? Is this what a Roman road junction looks like? So in the weirdest way possible, we've marked that exact spot of what appears to be some kind of pipeline marker, MOD pipeline marker of some kind, as the exact spot that M43 and M44 congregate at.
Bizarre coinky dinky.
Very bizarre coinky dinky. So what does a Roman road junction look like? Well, I've scoured the internet to find more on this very subject, but aside junctions in towns, the earthworks of a Roman road junction outside of a town for the time being seem like they're going to elude me. It's been a little adventure for us. We were meaning to do this for a long time, come and have a look at some of the Roman roads in Savernake Forest, and we haven't been disappointed by what we've seen. Certainly of the last bit of M44. Now that last bit of M44 was discovered by Sir Richard Hoare, and even McGarry tells us that in his book, which is a fascination in itself. So we have been, Paul and Rebecca, we have been mooching around Roman roads in Savernake Forest, trying to find the junction, which is just over there by the weird GPS pipeline thing. But there we go. Hope you've enjoyed today's little wander in the beautiful Savernake Forest. If you have, then join us each week. But for the meantime, we'll see you next Sunday, 5 PM.